almost all students, at least 86% of them, showed at least 80% mastery on an exit ticket. Do you think your students could answer a question like this with mastery?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
I mean, describe the components, however many components we discussed, I think they could go through that, right? All right. Now, there are clear criteria to evaluate depth of student understanding of content. Now, if my students don't usually see an exit ticket like this and I've never given them a rubric, you're right, it could be kind of questionable. Because just from the question, I'm not telling you how I'm going to assess you, right? So I may not get a 3 on that. Okay? Then let's look at number 14. There is evidence that teacher administered prior exit ticket to design support and extensions to meet the needs of all students. I can't really tell from this exit ticket if they've seen something similar to this before.
So how do we make it?
So exactly, let's work on it. Let's change it. So going back. So we already agreed in the very beginning that we can do a journal writing, that's fine. It's a line, that's fine. Students can master it. So now let's see if we can add something to make the criteria for evaluation clear. So from today's lesson, describe the components of the water cycle. What if I were to say something like, from today's lesson, what if I gave the components, right? Using precipitation, evaluation, condensation, and transpiration. Explain in 5 sentences each component. Now, I'm giving you something a little more, right? Like I'm telling you, okay, do this. But how would I know from that, now I'm asking you to add to it, how would I know from that what I'm grading?
I'm still getting past the point of the 5 sentences to explain each component. That's
so now I'm giving them, okay, we'll drop it down to 3.
Okay.
3 sentences. So if I'm asking them to deliver or to write 3 sentences, am I telling them how I'm going to evaluate them?
They have to be sentences.
They have to be sentences, right? Should I add like writing 3 complete sentences? Just to make sure, hey, I'm being very specific right?
That would leave that, that would, nothing would be the question.
Right.
If you say complete sentences.
So, how do you feel about that exit ticket? Like if we were to say, from today's lesson, describe precipitation, transformation, and the other parts in three complete sentences. If you give me 2 sentences, I already know I don't have enough, right? So you feel better about that one? Okay. So then let's look at this last part. There is,
or you can also add through drawing, by drawing or illustration of the water cycle. We can add that also.
Yes, I could add that, but I would definitely, that would be an extra. But I do want you to make sure you can explain it to me in words, in complete sentences. Okay. All right. So there is evidence. Yes. Yes. Teachers administer prior exit ticket to design support. So do I know if I gave an exit ticket the day before or a few lessons before?
No, not based on that.
No, I don't know based on that. How would we, do you think there's a way that we can change this exit ticket to even allude to me using this before?
Well, you would have to refer to the previous day's instruction in some kind of way.
So what if I added that? So instead of saying from today's lesson, what if I said something like, based on the water cycle lessons?
Yeah.
Right? That could mean that entire unit. We could have been talking about water cycle for a while. So it could be based on all the lessons, right? Or based on water cycle lessons. Or be descriptive. That would work, right? So then we would now have an effective score. And looking at the end, of course, this last one, this just discusses making sure you have all of the components.
Right. Okay, cool.
All right.
Thank you very much. Does your team have an example of an exemplar exit ticket that has all of these components in it?
I will email you one. Cool. Got you.
I wanted to address why we're having this professional development today. We've had 2 cycles of observations. What we wanted to have was 80% of our teachers in compliance with or having an effective score in
And
this.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna ask you. We also wanted the score, the effective score, to be 80% as well.
Yes, so we wanted 80% of our teachers to have an 80% on the rubric. As we see, we are here as a teaching staff. And so this is not, it's not affected by the students. So student attendance and their behavior and all that kind of stuff is not a part of this. This is purely our compliance with the expectations that were set by the administration on what effective teaching looks like at Luke. So according to that outcome, we are as a school at 41%. And looking at the data that we have collected, our areas that we're struggling in the most, we're pretty consistent. Most of us are just missing a couple of things on our board configuration. I can speak to my own score. I did not have the date on the board. And in order to get a 3, you needed to have all 7. So little things like that, we know that we can easily tweak those and we can get the high score in that area. Those are things that we can do easily. The warm-ups, we're doing pretty good in the warm-ups, just a couple of places where either they weren't happening at all or it was just really, really quick, right? Vocabulary instruction, we're kind of half and half. Exit tickets, we're struggling. And for myself, I sometimes didn't get to it. So my pacing of the class, I just wasn't making enough time, as Ms. Lucas alluded to really dig into the exit tickets to get good feedback from my students about whether or not they got what I was trying to give them.
I was just gonna add to that, the timing seems to be the biggest issue in conversation. I just didn't get to my exit ticket. Or if I got to it, I really didn't get a chance to really explain it the way I wanted to. It was something really quick. They signed off and they ran out. It's all about timing. And one for me, I know one of the things that I really need to work on is pacing. And that's why I was stressing 5 to 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. Because if you are being observed and during that observation at the very end of your class, you don't have an exit ticket, which is, it seems to have happened for most of us, you are going to be dinged. And if you look, you'll notice that the exit ticket actually holds the max points. It holds 18 points. So that is really, really important. Most important because this is how you know, 1, what your students got at the end of your lesson or what they understand, and 2, excuse me, what you need to do for the next lesson. Do you need to reteach? Do you need to, or can you go on? So this is really, really important. And again, looking largest number of points you can get, and in turn for us, it's the least amount of points we as a staff got.
And so I do want to reiterate at this time that, again, this rubric is used to support us. So it's okay that we are where we are now, because it gives the support staff here an opportunity to know what areas we really do need support on. So with that information, we're going to start a new